Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk to you about how to fix Sri Lanka. And I am Sri Lankan Sammy, retired with mom and dad. Thank you so much for joining us. We're in the car today. I'm with Superstar Desmond, heading over to get my driver's license. I hope you like that video. Click the link down below to check that video out. But since I'm in the car and it's going to be like an hour to drive there, to go from here to about 90 minutes to get to the location, I thought I'd knock off a video about what I think we should do to help fix Sri Lanka. All right, so as most of you know, Sri Lanka is going through a economic crisis, 2 years in the making, in the offing, and what can we do to fix that? So stick around and let's talk about that. So just a little bit of background for those of you who don't know. I mean, obviously, all my Sri Lankan brothers and sisters, thank you for joining. I really do appreciate you liking, subscribing. Please comment. Let me know what you think we can do to help fix this country. I don't want to get like all political and we should vote in this guy or vote in that guy. That's not what I'm here talking about. These are just my opinions and yours of what we can physically do to help fix this country, like morally, education-wise, government-wise, but not political, okay? So let's just keep it simple. And I want to thank everyone who is liking and subscribing. If you want to support the channel, click the link down below and buy me a coconut. That will help me go out and buy fruits and vegetables from local farmers and help stimulate the economy, which is one of the good things that we can do. If you really want to passively support the channel, I am monetized, so watch a commercial, watch an ad all the way through and click the link. That will really help me with the channel. Truly appreciate it, guys. So what can we do to help fix Sri Lanka? Well, I am not a macroeconomist, economist. But this is what I have seen as an outsider looking in and as an outsider living here and from what I've heard and what I've seen. So these are just my opinions. So the number one thing I think is, and in any country, just not Sri Lanka, I think in any country, is education. If we can give the people access to education and information, we can give them access to information. And I think that would really help, because one thing that I've learned in this country is that it runs on rumors. This country runs on rumors, right? Desmond agrees, because people lack access to information. Although internet is widely available in this country, it's expensive, and people don't have computers. And you say, well, smartphones, they don't have smartphones. They have the old 3G phones, right? Push button phones. They don't have Wi-Fi phones. So they don't have access to the internet. So their news is by television, radio, and word of mouth. How many times my educated relatives will spout rumors that they heard from this person, that person's cousin's second brother's minister's wife. You know, like, it's just, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And how many times mom has come to me and said, oh, you know, they say that we should probably look into this because, you know, this is going to happen. And then I write it down. And then when the day comes that she said it was going to happen, say, hey, mom, did this happen? Oh, well, they said it. 2 months later, Mom, did this happen? Oh, well, they said. So now she's stopped listening to rumors, because I've proven time after time after time that rumors are 100% false. It's just people trying to extend their power. And that's what human nature is all about. It's all about the power and the ability to control people. So I think the number one thing is getting the people the information or the access to the information that they can make their own decisions. Now, we've seen that access to information also doesn't help. I mean, one just has to look at the Western world to see what access to information does. But I mean, it's a step in the right direction, okay? Coupled with that is education. Now, Sri Lanka has one of the top literacy rates in the Southeast Asia, but better education and the ability to think for oneself. Now, coupled with that, my opinion as well, these are just all my opinions from what I've seen, okay, is apathy. It's a general apathy for the average person not believing in the system. Because the system is so ingrained here, the bureaucracy, the corruption, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just like in the Western world, it's like us versus them type of mentality. Now we have an election coming up in the next few months, which I'm thinking about voting in. I haven't voted in 20 years, and I can technically vote in 3 countries, Canada, South Korea, and Sri Lanka. And I haven't voted in 20 years because I'm apathetic about it. So, to reiterate is like, the people need to take hold of the control. And it was evident during the uprising 2 years ago, which collapsed the government, didn't overthrow, it collapsed the government during the financial crisis. But it was the apathy of the people, I think, in my opinion, again, these are just my observations, it was the apathy of the people allowing the government, the previous government, to exert the control that they had without oversight, without transparency. So it's that kind of transparency that is required. Like, for example, we're driving down the toll road highway right now, and there was a report that 90% of the toll takers skim money, and they do it. Wow, look at that lineup. What's that line? Oh, it's exit. 90% of the toll takers skim money by cutting the CCTV cables, or when there's a power outage, which happens a lot, they steal the money. And that's because the pay is so low. Inflation is very high. And I hope the graphics on this aren't too shaky, because I'm using a mount and the camera's shaking. So I hope in post-production I can fix this. The camera's pretty good to avoid the shaking. So the inflation, the cost of living, the salaries, all of those things are problems that cannot be solved because the country's bankrupt. And in this country, the government bureaucracy is required to employ the people. What was that? Beep. Oh, your phone? The government bureaucracy is required to employ the people. So, for example, like I've said this before, like even in a store, I go to a store to buy batteries. So I'll go up to a guy and say, I'd like these batteries, right? He will go to the back, get the batteries, bring it to the front, and he will show me. And I'll say, okay, these is what I want. or some kind of device, and he'll open it and make sure it works and shows me that it works. And then he'll repackage it, and then he will write a receipt. Then I take that receipt and I go to a place and I pay for it, and I get a paid receipt and a stamp. Then I take that paid receipt and stamp and I go back to the guy, and then he looks at it, signs it, packages both of those together, and takes both of those, the package and the receipt, gives it to a third person. That person looks at both of them, bags it up, signs it, and gives it to me, and I go. So 3 people required for me to just buy one little item that doesn't cost anything. And that is to prevent theft. I see that all the time at every store. In government, it's even worse. Like, you guys watched the video previously about, or coming up next week. Sorry, I think it's coming up next week. Renewing my driver's license. The bureaucracy required for me just to get a driver's license. This should be so simple. Go in, one person, fill out a form, here's the documents, that's it. In South Korea, I do it online, and I go and I have to just do my vision test, and I pick it up. It's done in 10 minutes. I'm just recovering from a head cold that I had a couple days ago, so sorry about that. Getting my immigration, my visa renewed in South Korea takes 7 minutes. 7 to 10 minutes. I make an appointment online. I show up with my documentation. Somebody looks at it, check, 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 finished. And then I wait 15 minutes for them to print out my new card. 30 minutes for me to renew my visa. How long would it take to renew a visa in Sri Lanka? 2 days? 3 days of lining up? Oh my gosh, it's so... But now, the difference is that South Korea is an electronic digital nation. Sri Lanka is a paper analog nation. Everything is on paper, okay? Although they are moving towards digital, a lot of it is paper. So I think technological innovation, allowing the local, education, innovation, transparency, now responsibility. I think that a decentralized government is probably the best. For the longest time, I think the Sri Lankan people held the government to a higher level, so that the president and the prime minister and those guys were the ones who ran the country. And I don't think that that's right. I think that they should be focused more on the foreign policy, and that the local governors should run their districts, because they are the ones who are in touch with the people. They know what's going on and they know what's needed. We have traffic lights in front of my house, near my house, that have never worked. The Jayala Katunayaka traffic lights never worked. How old are they? More than 5 years old. They have never worked. They flash yellow, and they're right in front of the police station. They have never worked, right? So it's the simple things like that. Infrastructure. And the local government is the one that should be responsible for that. So those are some of the things that I think could help fix the country. Obviously, money is a big thing. We need to get money into the country. The country needs to develop. Taxes are just, Darren is going to agree with me on this. We talked about this before. And thanks again for your support. I truly appreciate it. Terry, Darren, you guys are the best. I love you guys. Love talking with you guys. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to one day meeting you all. What is this guy doing? Why is he slowing down to 0 on the side of the highway? It's an exit. It's not a parking lot. My God. New driver.
No, phone, on the phone.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, taxes. Darren and I were talking about this. The government has no choice but to tax the rich in Sri Lanka because they're the only people with money. There is no money anywhere in this country except the rich. You cannot tax the poor. They have no money. One of the things that I noticed, I mean, our property taxes for our house was like $10 for the year. It was a ridiculous amount of money, like minuscule amount of money. And how can you tax people? The average person has no money. You know, they can barely afford to survive the inflation costs, let alone taxes. So taxing luxury goods, taxing property, secondary rental properties, which is what Darren and I were talking about, businesses, that's the only way to do it. And that's going to hurt the number one resource in this country, which is tourism. Having people invest in tourism is not going to be possible if you're going to tax, secondary apartments and things like that. So I think that is everything that I believe is that we can do to fix the country. You know, other than individually trying to generate more income for the country without the government every step of the way trying to tax it and stop it, then that's what we have to try to avoid. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below and tell me what you think we should do, but not political. Like, what physical things can we do to change? All right. And again, thank you again, guys, for watching, liking, sharing, commenting. Truly appreciate it. Learn to live life. Don't let life live you. And we'll see you all on the other side.